Have you played in a game in which the whole enemy team is going a mass air and you don't really realize it until you're playing like a little bit into the game, like 4 or 5, maybe 10 minutes in the game, and then all of a sudden you're just in this weird situation of just trying to go back and forth and getting rid of the enemy army and making sure that the air doesn't come in and destroy your base, as in some of the stuff that's happened in previous videos? Well, if so, you have come to the right place, because we are going against two Decimus and a Hunter colony. I am playing as UNSC. I believe I am playing as Forge, and we do have ourselves double covenant on each of my two left hand sides. And so, as you already know, generator first. I think gen first is just the way to go as of right now, but I'm not gonna lie, I've lost a lot of games going gen first, so we'll see if this is like a viable strat, a couple weeks from now, and then I'll try and make a more in-depth video for it. But for now, the goal is simple. All I want to do is establish an economy, play an infantry game with this army, with this build. At least that's what I'm going to presume that I'm going with. If not, this is going to be quite the surprise. And then get my hero out and just be able to just keep dabbling around the map, getting the node to fight for those positional areas. Will that actually turn out the way I want it to? Well, we will see and find out. But there we go. Our first Marine is being made. We're going to get that additional power because my teammate did not grab it. Now I know some people may say, hey, that's being rude. But, I believe I was doing it right. My teammate didn't have the opportunity to take it. Didn't want it. It would rather go after the node. And so that's going to give me the opportunity to get that additional power. Not like I need it though, because I am Forge. But nevertheless, it's still going to help out my economy just a little bit. So very shout out to my teammate there allowing me to do that. That was very nice of them to do so. And so we're going to continue our marine production, but I think we're going to go ahead and get ourselves an armory first if the armory's not out yet. So then we can make our hero, and there we go. We have our armory hot grouped on our D-pad, so we can go ahead and get our hero out right away. And there we go. Yellow has shown up with some grunts, and so we have the matchup here with 3 marines versus 2 grunts that are firing because the other one's capturing. So we're going to micro just a little bit back so then we can be able to get one unfocused fire. And there we go. We were able to win that fight. An additional marine is coming in to reinforce. And there we go. We got ourselves a vortex lightning coming in. And that's very unfortunate because that grunt is going to end up getting rid of 2 of our armies. But we do have grunts showing up to reinforce. And now they're getting vortex lightning by the second Decimus. So there you have it. This is going to be an interesting game for this alone. Double Decimus that we're going up against. That means double vortex lightning, double cleansing beam, double the siphon, double the Decimus drop. And so this is going to be such an interesting game nevertheless. So the colony that we are going up against decided to go living barrier for their first point. And so this is going to be a very interesting setup by them because that means they're not going skitters right away. So I'm going to use my infantry to go ahead and start retreating and work on this right node just because of the fact that there's no way I can fight middle at this very moment. And we're going to self-destruct our armory because we have the resources to do so. We're not really going to be using the armory anytime soon. So let's use that as an opportunity to keep making some marines, get that grenade ability so then we can continue to pressure with our marines that we're producing. We're getting ourselves a second base. So this is going to be a well-established army. Dark Blue is coming in to scout the enemy, and there you have it. Triple extractor, not triple extractor, bunch of turrets. Like 3 turrets that are already set up. And red is showing up with a bunch of marines grunts that are heading over to green. At least that's what it's being perceived to be. So we are going to go ahead and finish getting our upgrade for the supply pad. And the grunts are there more to scout than anything else, so it's nothing really too crazy. But we're going to go ahead and try and capture that middle node to try and keep up this lead that we have just in regards to node control as a whole. And so they are going to try and get that high ground with that grunt, but that's going to be immediately taken care of with what we've got. We're going to send that very injured grunt to go ahead and take that base. And look at this. Orange has already established a second base right away as Decimus. So they must have grabbed that second base right away. And so now we're going to get our 3rd gen. We still haven't been producing as much marines as I would like. Looking back at this game, definitely more marine production is a must. But I'm going to go ahead and see if there's anything on this right hand lane that we can go ahead and pressure, because we have ourselves a double, just a light push happening by Dark Blue as a whole. They are playing as Vortis, so that's going to be additional resources that they're going to be able to get. And I'm just going to go ahead and see if a second base is being established over here by red, and it doesn't look like there is. So this is going to be my cue to shift on over to mid with my reinforcements. And there you have it. I see a Banshee in the air already, and so that's the sign of someone going air. And surprisingly, it is the colony. So I'm going to go ahead and take out this base, keep these Marines a little bit in the back, and we were able to deny this base, which is a good sign. But as you can see, yellow too has a second base and just got that upgraded themselves. So I'm going to get a vehicle depot, probably to go ahead and start getting some Wolverines. We're going to upgrade to combat tech Marines, and the reason why we're doing this is because we want to be able to get additional anti-air associated with this. And now I'm going to start sending my reinforcements over to mid to see if I can help out with Dark Blue's kind of light push that's happening over there. And so what I want to do is get ourselves a good combination of a lot of anti-air and just keep the pressure on their side. That's something that you have to do if you see that they're going air. And we presumed at least one of the Decimus was going to go air. And we do have a Decimus ourselves that is going air because, you know, he likes all air all the time. And I'm not here to bash against that, but I'm here to prove that all air all the time does not equal win. And so we're getting ourselves a big push. Grenade ability is going to be put on that Decimus. And a Vortex Lightning was going to come down. I mean, a Cleansing Beam. And that's unfortunately a whiff. Oh, it turns out the Cleansing Beam was the enemy's Cleansing Beam. And they tricked us for that matter. Now, here you go. Red is showing up with some Banshees as well. We do have a Hunter's Brand coming in with a Vortex Lightning. And a bunch of Rams coming in. And got rid of my leader right away. And here's another downside, right? I'm floating so much resources right now, and that's really unfortunate because I definitely could have had a lot more units out here if I did my economy slightly better than what I currently had. So very disappointed in that regards, but we're still going to go ahead and try and get a push. There was a big whiff by the Decimus Y move, which is always nice to see. Scatter Bomb is coming down, which is another thing good to see as well. We do have Wolverine reinforcements, but unfortunately there's a shield gen that we're still working on. We finally cleared that out. And so now we're trying to work on the enemy's base over here. We're getting our armory back up, but our reinforcements isn't really being streamlined as well as we want to. And now Elite Rangers are starting to show up as well. And so this is going to be our cue to start getting ready to fall back. A Cleansing Beam is coming down. And so we were able to clear out a leader, which is always good to see. But honestly, this push isn't going to be extended much longer, unfortunately. So we're going to go ahead and start falling back. No idea why there's a Warthog in this army, but it is. And now we have to just start preparing our base defenses. We kind of overcommitted in this push. And so now we're going to try and fight back the remainder of the Banshees that are here to try at least get rid of one of them. We were able to get rid of one. And the second base is now being established on this right-hand side. Surprise, I do not have an air pad yet. This is another huge flaw that's happening by my play right now. This Decimus is being microed very well against my units, where I'm trying to not get those Elite Rangers hurting me, but it's kind of a tough position as a whole. So yellow is not showing air at the moment. Actually, they are. They have two Banshees there. Red clearly has air, but my army has been wiped out once again. So things aren't really looking too hot, and there's that air pad. And so once again, unfortunately, that push didn't really go as well as I would have liked it to be. Definitely should have prioritized an air pad with a foundry to go ahead and get Wolverines with infantry and Nightingales, and then prioritize upgrades later. So definitely late on that second base as well. So lots of huge improvements could be learned from this game as a whole, which is always a good thing to see, but it also kind of hurts at the same time. But next leader point is ready. We're going to go ahead and get Restoration Drone. The reason why we're going to get Restoration Drones is because our army's hurting pretty bad over here, and I want to provide heals during this push. And now we have ourselves a great combination effort that's happening by all three of us, where we have the Banshees coming in, Reavers coming in by the Vortis. Now we're going to start working on this base, and infantry level 2 upgrades will be coming in as well. Vortex Lightning is coming down. There are some Elite Rangers that we're going to have to worry about over here. But it does look like Green's going to toss a Cleansing Beam to get rid of the Elite Rangers, which is something you want to see. Y move is coming down by the Decimus with a Hunter's Brand coming down with the Vortex Lightning. And so this is just a very back-to-back like punching bag with each other. The air army is going to be taken care of, and it does look like we were able to get rid of the hero as well. And so we cleared all that out. Another Vortex Lightning comes in, but there you have it. Now all of a sudden Orange has shown up with the massive amount of air that they have, And so I'm going to go ahead and try and focus down on the base, but given with everything that they had going on here, we're going to have to stay put. Living Barrier is coming down. Vortex Lightning is coming down as well by our teammate. And we're trying to hold this to the best of our ability, but there is a lot of air, and we don't have that Reaver support that we're looking for. My hero has now been taken out. A Scatter Bomb is going to go down on the base as well on Orange's stuff, and so we were able to at least take out the base, which is something you want to see. But unfortunately, my army has got reset all over again. And so now we're finally going to start working on Tech 3. And we are keeping red on one base, which is something you want to see. But unfortunately, we're kind of in a very tough spot because yellow is now going to continue their production with mass air. Orange is still making their mass air as we speak. And red is on one base, but still starting to make some Banshees as well. And so the only plus side is that we have our second bases. Red is on one base, so we do have a little bit of an economic edge there to try and regroup with the amount of army that we can have. So we're going to go ahead and just see what is the next steps here. I was just thinking that same thing. Let's get rid of that barracks. If we're not going to use that production facility, let's just work on getting an economy going so we can keep on making more units. And speaking of which, advanced logistics could definitely be a move and play here. Will I end up doing it? We'll see and find out. I don't think I do. I'm not someone that really uses that too often, even though I would love to. But we're going to continue the production of our units. And it does look like red is trying to grab a second base. So we're going to clear this out. And then we're going to try and push once again. And so the reason why I'm trying to focus on pushing red over and over again is that is the weak lane. If you recognize a weak lane, we want to continuously hit that position, and there you go. He self-destructs that base right away, which puts him back to one base, and that's the position that we want to see. And so we're going to upgrade that supply pad, and now we're going to keep on making additional units and make some turrets, just in case we're in a situation where all of a sudden air starts coming at our bases and we don't have a response to it. And so push is trying to happen by dark blue, and a cleansing is coming down, and they're going to be able to dodge that pretty well. But meanwhile, we got to see a great engagement with me hitting the living barrier instead, which is why I would love to have replays instead. So 343, if you happen to be watching this, hey, replay system would be pretty good. And for anybody else that's watching, if you enjoy this video, feel free to give a like. If not, it is all good, no worries. And that's my plugin for now. And so big push is going to be happening on this left hand side. We have Reavers with Cloaking Gen, that's going to be good, but there's a lot of Banshees that are up in the air right now, and there is one engineer that needs to be worried about. I do have a heal that's going to be ready to use, and I'm going to take the teleporter to be able to try and do some counter damage if possible and reinforce through the bottom. And so we're in quite the predicament. I'm here trying to push this bottom side. Cataclysm does get popped, and because of the Cloaking Gen, we're going to be able to hold this relatively well. But the question is, will I be able to do any damage on this base at the bottom? Good Living Barrier is being called over here. Unfortunately, I do have some anti-air turrets that are happening on my second base, so that's a good call. But yellow is coming in to try and attack my middle base. And so hopefully we'll be able to hold this in this regards. We're going to start upgrading Fortify level 3. And with 2 anti-air turrets, and we're going to drop in a Scatter Bomb as well, I think we're going to be able to try and hold this. And so now 100 Brand is coming down on my army. We're trying to stop this push that's happening on my middle base while still trying to push this left hand side as well. And the reinforcements is coming in with their Banshees, but this is still a matchup that's relatively good for us. Heavy metal is going to go ahead and be popped, but we are taking some significant damage over here. Green has decided to come and reinforce my base here at the bottom, but that means my fight on this side is going to change. And speaking of which, Orange now has Hunters in this army. And there's a great achievement unlock, rare gamer score, 100 healing leader powers used on this account. That is always something cool to see. Love the achievement sound. And now we're going to unlock Grizzlies, which is going to be nice to see. And we do have a lot of supplies that are happening, but unfortunately this push that was trying to happen isn't really going to work out anymore. And so green is starting to come in to help reinforce, and a good cleansing is going to come down to help work on the enemy red units that are coming in. But I have been reset. Things aren't really looking too hot, and I just lost more Nightingales and more units. And so at this point, we're going to try and regroup, see if there's a different area where we can push. And I still think red is the lane to go ahead and push. Orange is going to be hard. And so I'm going to go ahead and drop in some Grizzly tanks and see if I can streamline the remainder of my reinforcements to bring them over to this right hand side. The thought process is simple. Right now, their whole army's on the left-hand side. They can take teleporter to go ahead and hit green, which can be a problem. So in order to stop that from happening, let's see if we can go ahead and pressure the base on the right-hand side and bring the army to us. Because I still think we can win a fight head on if we can get a good engagement. And so that's what we're going to try and do. Here comes a cleansing beam that's coming down on the Decimus. But we were able to clear out red's base, and yellow's banshees are coming in as well from the bottom side. But this is going to be my cue to start shifting my army over to this right hand side. And there you go. Dark blue has now switched. Orange has now switched to a mixed comp between hunters and air. And now I'm just going to get additional supply as well, just to be able to get ready to do drops if I need be. And so we're in an interesting spot, still getting turrets in order to fortify my defenses in case they try to push something through the middle. But now we're going to see if we can get ourselves a good push. Red is on one base. We have reset his air a couple times, but we haven't seen the new air that has been made in replacement. So here it is. You have red showing up right here, and they have blisterbacks as well. We're going to have to find a way to tear through the blisterbacks, and here comes a cleansing beam, and this cleansing beam is tough because it's hitting everything. It's hitting green and myself at the same time. Yellow has shown up as well. Shield gen is doing pretty good for them, and because of this, green is going to end up retreating. This is not a good engagement for them. I am going to lose units here, but we want to see if we can go ahead and at least try and get rid of some of these blisterbacks. But look at this, Scatterbomb is doing practically absolutely nothing on this side, and red is going to be able to hold that. So unfortunately, a very big costly attack that happened on this side. And now I'm going to start making vultures, and the reason why I want to start making vultures is because I want to use that Y move to counter their massive amount of air that they have. Unfortunately, the targeting fire in this game makes it a little bit difficult to fight a massive amount of air, which is why mass air can be a problem down the line. But we do have a good amount of anti-air as a whole. The combat salvage is going to be bought now, so then we can get ourselves ready in the later game to be able to do some of these what I call dirty pushes as a whole. And so red is now attacking green's base. I'm going to start streamlining some additional reinforcements on this side of the map. And I do have a heal if need be as well, and so I'm going to be holding on to it. Fortis is going to go ahead and use their ability with Cataclysm and Mealstorm, and so all those banshees are going to end up getting taken out. My Nightingale got eliminated right away. But all in all, this is going to be a pretty good hold on this side, which means the engagement that's happening on the left hand side with green and dark blue will at least be put in a little bit of an advantageous position. And so fortunately, nothing really has been lost on this side, and so now we finally have additional anti-air that's going to be able to push back the remainder of red's army, and that's going to be my cue. If red just went and attacked with everything that he had and lost a lot of units, then this should be my cue to go ahead and try and attack red on this side of the map. Though we did just see some units coming in at mid from yellow, and so it's going to be interesting to see where this air is going to pop up, if any. And so I am going to get some anti-air turrets, and here we go. Orange has shown up with just a little bit of air. It wasn't as much as I thought it would, and so it's not entirely too bad. Maybe it's something to come, and it is something to come. Here comes the rest of the air units that are going to be coming in at my base, but I do have 4 bases with anti-air turrets, and now we're going to start popping some Y moves as well. Cleansing beam is going to come down. Y moves are out, and it's going to do a great job on those banshees. At least those are the presumptions I am making, and yes, it did. It took out a lot of their pop, and we do have quadruple anti-air turrets just shooting out in the air right now. And yes, the hunter colonies are a problem, but honestly, it's not late. The hunters are not really going to cause any problems. I'm not near that army as a whole, and we have more air superiority than anything. And so this huge attack that just happened is pretty much going to be cleaned up. Desi Hero is gone. Desi is going to be gone as well. Surprised our Decimus does not have a cloaking gen, unfortunately, but we're going to look to see if we can stop this attack that's happening on this base. He is going to go ahead and try and focus on that gen to stop that from happening. And we're finally going to get air level 2 upgrades and start that process. But all in all, we have the units that we need to try and hold this off, and I think we're going to hold it off pretty well. They're trying to focus down on the base, but a beautiful scatter bomb is coming down because red is distracted from what's going on, and because of that, his army is going to get wiped entirely. And now we have the Vortis pushing on the right hand lane on the colony once again to see if we can put ourselves a nail in the coffin in this situation. Those infantry that I got garrisoned back there is actually still doing a very good job. And so our Decimus did take a little bit of damage, but unfortunately, it wasn't too much, and that was like a double negative, but it is what it is. Blisterbacks are now being set up. Red is established pretty well. So the question is, where are we going to go ahead and attack? I still think red is the side to push, and the reason why I think that is because of the fact that they committed a lot. Red's army got reset, and so we're going to see if we can get ourselves a push. A cleansing beam is going to be coming down right when he was targeting the Decimus, which is very unfortunate, but I'm going to drop a heal to see if I can go ahead and heal some of the Banshees that are there. Now we're going to go ahead and see what leader point we're going to go ahead and do. Double down on heavy metal. Our vultures are coming in as well as reavers, and now if we're able to get rid of this base over here, which we have, another cleansing beam is coming down, by the way, just going after us. Going against double Decimus is pretty rough, but it does look like there are some blisterbacks that we can't take out. A great teleport that's happening by Vortis. You don't really see that too often, a teleport with the Vortis. A Maelstrom is coming down, and it does have an infusion wake that's coming down as well. And now we're going to have green with his own leader ability with Vortex Lightning. And so right now, lots of leader abilities are coming in, trying to be comboed off with one another. And now my vultures are coming in to try and Y move on red's base to take that out if possible. We're focusing down on red's base. It's getting very close to being eliminated. The rest of the anti-air and infantry are coming in to help fight this fight. They are trying to target down the vultures. Surprised I did not pop combat salvage. There it is. Combat salvage has now been popped. Actually, I don't even think I popped it. And we were able to take out red's base, which has now led to a resign by the enemy units, enemy team. I believe it was their yellow afterwards. Red has now left the game, and there goes orange. Orange is now out for the count as well. So yeah, this was a pretty longer game than usual, but I thought this was a very interesting game, mainly because this was a good back and forth game. In a case and situation where you're going against mass air or a team that just likes to go air in general, you want to bring the pressure to them. Trust me, there's a lot of games that I've lost recently because of the fact that they are pressuring our teammate that likes to go mass air. But that is the play to do. That is the play. That's something that you have to do. And so, all in all, though, I thought this was a cool game to show. If you enjoyed it, feel free to give it a like. If you did, that is awesome. If not, it is all good. I appreciate you even getting this far. Went against pure 99s. I went 61 for 97 as Forge. Vortis went 42 for 46. Our Decimus went 66 for 118. And the enemy colony 68 for 29. Yellow went 101 for 66. And orange went 95 for 73. So yeah, I do have myself a Discord channel. It's going to be do anything about Halo Wars, of course, any other strategy games as a whole. I love strategy games. Feel free to check the description down below in that Linktree link. The Discord channel is there. And I do have a game dev side as well where I'm working a game on the side. So if you wish to support that in any way, feel free to subscribe over there, see what content I have, or look at the Patreon that I have there, or just go into the Discord channel. Discord channel is a great way to just chat, talk, see what's going on. With that being said, have a good one. Thank you so much for watching, for making it this far. Enjoy the rest of your day, and until the next video.